All systems nominal.
それでは早速全速前進
You wanna know what the weak point of a mech is? The fucking pilot.
Get away from her, you bitch!
His papers say he was a raven.
Protocol 3.
A pattern blue!
Welcome to On the Shoulders of Giants, a giant robot power hour featuring mechs.
Yeah?
I didn't pull up the thing. And I thought I could do it. I thought I could do it without pulling it up. Give me just 1 second.
You almost got there. You were like,
Can we do it? Can we all take a run at it, though? Brian, do you want to take a run at it?
Go.
Welcome to On the Shoulders of Giants, a giant robot power hour discussing mechs across media, their stories, and why we love them.
Oh my
You
fucking
got it.
God.
That was exactly it. Brian is the podcast professional.
Yeah. I'm like a true CEO. I actually don't know how any of this works. Welcome to On the Shoulders of Giants, a giant robot power hour discussing mechs across media, their stories, and why we love them. I'm Alice, and I'm joined by Brian.
I destroyed my dining table today.
And Nico.
Would that God's fat, heavy fingers shaped me so beautifully.
This time around, we're taking a break. We're, as Nico once said, sitting back, cracking open some cold ones, and we're talking Gunpla. Let's launch into it.
Cracking open some cold ones, by which I mean gently levering open the extremely sticky lid on this jar of moonshine that is room temperature.
You can clean things.
It's alcohol. It's sterile.
So I really need like a cutting mat.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I need to get one of those. I like thought about stealing one from work, but the one at work is fucking busted. I don't know what happened to it. It's like not a flat surface. I don't know how to describe it.
Mine has wood stain on it.
Oh, yeah. I have two. My old one is like so fucked up with like colors and stuff. And like, I'm going to still use it because they never really go bad, but damn, it's fucked up. So today we're discussing Gunpla, which stands for, as most things in Japan, it's a
Gundam
shortened version.
Playtime.
Brian, what does it stand for?
I literally have no idea.
It's an acronym.
It stands for Gundam Plastic Model. Gunpla, Gundam Plastic.
I think it stands for Gundam Playtime.
It doesn't. So, Gunpla, why are we talking about this? So, something very big in the mech community is model kits, right? We love the mechs that we make. We love these little guys, our special little guys. And something that people like to do is they like to go out and they like to buy a bunch of plastic and then slowly put it together and then they put it on a shelf and go, boy, that's cool. Maybe sometimes they'll make some pew-pew noises with it.
Mine's holding me at gunpoint. I realized that earlier. I was talking to Brian and I looked up and the barrel of the rifle is pointed straight at me.
Very good, very good. So Gunpla, the reason that we're talking about this is I'm very passionate about Gunpla. One of the things that I love in mech media is Gundam, and Gunpla comes from Gundam. Now, not all Gunpla is Gundam. There are many other different varieties that other series have sets. There are some sets and some different brands, like 30-minute missions, that have no associated media. There is a thriving world of Gundam model kits, mech model kits. You know, these aren't just things that you buy. You're not getting a giant figure of Cherno Alpha. No, you're getting a box, some assembly required. Now, why I love Gunpla is there's no rules, just right. You can do really whatever.
I think there's rules if you can read Japanese, but
there's instructions. Nobody's going to be mad if you don't follow them. So instead of a summary this time, I'm going to give us a brief history of Gunpla.
I'm so excited.
I'm specifically focused in on Gunpla, not other model kits. Because,
garage kits, cars.
Yeah.
The models.
I get it. I get where you're going. It's dumb. So,
model airplanes. Wow. Can I participate? I'm just going to drink my moonshine.
Fuck you. Drink my shine. So, Gunpla. Mobile Suit Gundam premiered in 1979. Before this, most robot anime was about, really cool, magical robots fighting generic bad guys, and we're all happy and fun. When Mobile Suit Gundam came out, it was about orphans fighting war, people dying. It was much more brutal. At the same time that this came out, like many shows of the time, they released toys. A small company called Clover started releasing toys with this. So this is the original RX-78 toy, a Clover die-cast Gundam that was released.
Oh, he's so chunky.
I need it.
So it was released. It's a die-cast model, which means it's already built. It's like an old Mattel Hot Wheels. It's made out of metal and painted on metal.
Oh my God, you could kill somebody with that.
This thing is heavy. Probably has lead paint on it, right?
Yes.
But the problem is, not many people liked this. Kids who watched the show weren't really engaging with that kind of toy, and they weren't really engaging with the show.
That's
so
wild. I bet if they had sent that to the dark heart of America, we would have been winging these motherfuckers at each other doing grievous bodily harm. I once had somebody hit me in the back with a block of wood. Can you imagine if that had been a beautiful die-cast Gundam?
I've been hit by wood, but it was consensual.
Nope. All right.
Words.
Continue with the history.
So in 1980, Bandai, you might know Bandai. They're kind of a Japanese company.
Oh, yeah, from Jivo.
Yeah, right? So Bandai came in and they said, hey, we make stuff, we make toys, and we see that this might work. So they bought the rights to produce models based on this. So Bandai released kits, and these were called first grade kits. So the first grade kit, it was literally plastic on a sprue that you had to hard glue together. It came in one color that you then had to paint yourself. But the big selling point about this is they were about 300 yen, $3 per box.
Yeah.
So for a kid who wants to get a toy, all you need is some glue and some paint, which you might just have around. So it took off. And this is kind of what reinvigorated the rewatching of the original series. So Gundam wasn't a big hit when it came out, but when Gunpla took off, so did Gundam.
That's funny, because you always think about shows being, like, at least in the Transformers tradition, they're there to sell the toys. It's very funny to think of, like, we made a toy so lit, they went back and watched the show.
And then, but then the capitalism resumed its sort of script, right? Because then the show went on to inform the release of toys very specifically. I mean,
yeah, it as it goes on.
By the time you hit Zeta Gundam, like they're doing a new mobile suit per episode, like for that very reason, pretty much.
Yeah.
So you have to collect them all. Very Pokemon-esque.
Right.
A little after this, these were originally just regular molds of plastic. But after that, they developed system injection, which they weren't the first to do it. But basically, you have a hard cast metal cast, and you shoot plastic into the mold. And that's how they're made to this day. It's been updated and changed, but it's literally just plastic molds.
Yeah, because I've seen people do some 3D printing now with Gunpla pieces, or at least like models that they find online on like Thingiverse or shared on forums. But I mean, if you're doing it from a conventional 3D printer as opposed to like a resin printer or one of the newer powder printers, you're going to get so many print lines that it's just like, I don't know. I got the feeling like handling the plastic that came in my kit, it was so nice and so high quality. Like the injection plastic it's got such a nice finish that it's hard to think even now with how 3D printing is advanced that this is going to be totally outmoded, because it produces a nice product.
It's so smooth. It's so nice to just touch. Yeah, because of how it's made, the quality is great, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then things kind of go from there. In 1985, they introduced polycaps, is what they're called. Those are those little plastic pieces that go on the joints.
Are those like the softer
movability.
Plastic?
Correct. That's the soft plastic that goes inside. So that's the first. It was literally just plastic on plastic. They moved kind of jankily. You could kind of pose them.
Yeah.
But this made them be more like action figures, right?
And it also really helps. I will say one of the things I'll talk about when I talk about my build is I immediately broke a piece of like the regular plastic. I really appreciated those pieces for having more flexibility, because of course those are the pieces that are going to take the most like stress and strain as you push pieces together. So That I really thought those were cool.
In 1987, that's when they introduced Snap Fit, which are you guys felt that, which is the pieces could actually snap together. You didn't need glue anymore to make these, and a lot of Gundam fans and Gunpla fans try not to use glue as much as possible, depending on who you ask. But again, no rules, just right. Applebee's. In 1990, they introduced high grade. So high grade is kind of where they introduced the sweet spot for the consumer. So these kits were about 1,000 yen or $10. And that's it's a bit more quality than those first grades. And that's kind of where they zeroed in on their core kit design. So why every kit that you open kind of has a familiarity to it. They kind of have the same rules to them. In 1993, they created the unified set of polycaps. So the little card you got of different sizes, you didn't use all of them, did you?
No, I was wondering about that.
That's because that's used in a lot of different kits, and then they just pick and choose which ones you use, but that way they don't have to make a separate one for each kit.
That's cool, actually.
Which
that's really
brings
smart.
cost. Yeah, brings costs down for them and makes it easier for their users. In 1995, they released Master Grade, then 1998 Perfect Grade, and then they re-released First Grade at their 20th anniversary, but better.
They were like, hey, sickos.
You can still buy First Grade kits out there. They kind of keep them at kind of like a $5 price point, and it's just like the Zaku, the Gundam, and stuff like that.
That's kind of cool.
In 2000, so spoiler for the podcast, I'm American. USA.
Doxed.
With how competently you talk about Japanese history and politics, I just assumed.
Shut the fuck up. So in the 2000s, and Brian, you might remember this, but there was this little show that came on Toonami called Gundam Wing.
The psychic imprint of the first Gundam Wing intro song is imprinted on my prefrontal cortex, from Toonami of this era.
When this came in, they kind of hyped it up. This was supposed to be the big coming to America of Gundam. They were finally breaking outside. So before this, it was pretty much in Southeast Asia, all made in Japan, except for some approved Chinese facilities, but mostly Japanese and Taiwan and Indonesia. That kind of culture really latched onto this. So Gundam Wing came out, and they used this as an opportunity to get into the US market. At the same time, this is when they introduced their level system, which they've luckily gotten rid of, but it was basically there were different levels of Gundam kits that you could use. And so with Gundam Wing, they released these model kits. And boy howdy, did they push this hard in America. We will now interject, and Nico, you'll have to drop in this audio on top of us, but we're all going to watch this together.
Okay.
Here we go.
Oh my god, I remember this.
Level 5 Gundam, 17 hours.
Level 4, 3 days.
5 levels. Level 3, 2 hours a night.
Oh, that Shenlong.
40 parts.
Level 1, Gundam, 1 hour.
Near endless articulation.
Level 5, 10 hours.
Gundam, what's your level of commitment?
What's your level of commitment?
Okay, that is pretty fun. I did kind of like that.
That was so hackers pilled.
It was. I expected that. Okay, but that one guy in the hoodie did actually look like Lord Nikon from Hackers.
That Shenlong, that 10-hour apparently level 5 Shenlong looked so sick. I was just thinking I should get a Shenlong next.
I just want to be clear right now, at most hobby towns and regular, Shenlong is one of the ones currently available.
Nice.
They actually have a new line of wing that's very nice right now. I just got a heavy arms from it because I know who I am.
Yeah.
In honor of my top surgery.
Yeah, I need to scrape my hair back into a tight ponytail and make a Shenlong.
This is kind of where, so it kind of starts to get into American culture at that point. And about in 2010, which is their 30th anniversary of Gundam, they released the first 148 kit, which I tried to find a good image showing scale. This is kind of the best one I found because So the one in front is is taller than the one that you have. So the 148 in the back is their mega size.
Whoa.
Okay, that's kind of okay. That wasn't what I was expecting, but I did have a comment that was funny that when I put this guy together, I realized I'd kind of been imagining that the final model would be the size of the box, which makes no sense because to fit the sprues in there and everything, there's no way. But when he came out so pequeño in my little hand, I was like, I love him, but also I don't want to know how big the box is for this motherfucker.
Pequeño.
Are you stupid?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Alice, I had never built a kit before. I had no idea what to expect.
I didn't know what to expect either. I don't know what size I thought it was going to be.
I think I was thinking of Transformers toys because, Brian, I mean, your fiance collects Transformers, but they tend to be more not quite forearm length, but a little bigger than your hand. And this camper is the size of my hand.
Let me consult one of the literal 5 bins of Transformers toys sitting next to me right now. For a size comparison. Oh,
those are just the ones not displayed.
I'm sending a photo. This is immediately behind me.
I want the episode where we just have you pull them out one by one and we all look at them together.
We try to name who they are. Our Transformers episode is just who is this man?
You're not ready for this photo I'm posting. You're not ready. You're not prepared.
God, I'm afraid.
I'm assuming.
Whoa, Jesus Christ!
Those are Christmas totes. Those aren't small totes.
Oh my God. Okay, for the listener who does not go to osgpod.com to look at our beautiful images per the thing in the break, this is 5 totes. 4 of them are sealed. They are clear. We can see, all of them but one are clear. We can see that they are stuffed, full of toys. One of them does not have a lid on it, and it does runneth over.
It is bursting.
Oh my God. Brian is God's bravest soldier to be trying to Mech Podcast from the Transformers dungeon.
Is it weird that I didn't think you had the light on when you recorded in the closet? I just thought you had just the glow.
It makes it quieter.
I can't have a slight buzz of an LED light bulb in here. So after 2010, they kind of ramped up, and just to condense a lot of history, Bandai has listened a lot to their fans and really narrowed in the market and has really become a global brand. I do have a couple of fun facts I want to kind of shoot through for you.
Yes.
So not until 2016 were all instructions printed in English and Japanese. You had to specifically find a kit with English instructions or guess before
I
then.
guessed.
So
I guessed.
Ours were in Japanese only. There's a fun surprise later in this episode, but yeah.
No. You have English at the beginning that explains what the pictures mean.
Oh. A bitch did not read it.
A bitch did not read it.
A bitch did not read it. Actually, really, that's kind of it. That was actually my only fun fact. I mean, there's a ton other. What I will say is, this community, like any community, has a bunch of shitty people, but we're laying it out right now. Anyone can do Gunpla.
Oh,
anyone can do it. We can do it. We did it. You can do it.
I proved today that anyone can do it. Let me tell you how unbelievably bad I am about spatiality and building things. I can't do origami. I cannot build IKEA furniture to save my life. But I could do this. I did this in about 3 hours. It's possible.
I'm glad we have the full range of people because I love building IKEA furniture and I'm currently folding 1,000 paper crates. The 2 genders.
I'm gonna tell a story that I tell a lot, but it's important to contextualize how I can't stress enough how much of a miracle Gunpla is that I can do it. Because when I was in high school, I took AP English, and the AP classes required an exam at the end because the American education system is fucking stupid. Anyway, we had already done our final essays, which were the actual thing that culminated our whole knowledge of the class, and I of course fucking aced mine. But
brag.
He needed a test, and the teacher was like, well, fuck it. We're going to just do origami as the test. Y'all, I failed. I passed the class because he passed everyone because the exam was stupid, but I would have failed the exam. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
What did he have you fold?
I don't remember. Like I don't remember it all.
You like blocked it out. You obliterated this memory.
How do you fail origami?
I obliterated it. It was also a while ago, but still.
I wanted to ask you about. So when we went to, I had Alice out in Seattle when I lived up in that area, and we went to a Gunpla store that I had found online in Japantown. But it also had like just displays. And I was really impressed. Of course, there were a lot of the 148 size, like big models. There were custom paints and a lot of scenery I saw. Like they were posed, but they were also like posed in scenery. There were people who'd use cotton to do big billowing smoke clouds.
Explosions and shit.
Yeah.
Was that there from the beginning, or like when did scenery kind of come into like Gunpla building and shows and stuff?
That's a difficult question. So again, most of my knowledge is America-based. I don't know about Japan, but I will say as long as model builders have existed, they've made dioramas.
That makes sense. The first thought I had after I built was, because obviously like...
Whoa, spoilers. We haven't told everybody what kits we built.
My first one after I built...
I need you to bleep that.
Undisclosed kit was I had a couple of bad nip marks, and I was like, you know what'd be cool is if I did some fake battle damage to kind of cover those. Like that would be really cool.
That was what I was gonna say. That is my favorite shit. When people like paint like rust and scars on their fucking shit.
Battle damage.
I saw a guy doing like battle damage, and he like put it in a fish tank and filled it with water. It was like, oh, this is like at the bottom of the ocean type shit. It was awesome.
That's incredibly cool.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Alice, I'm gonna pull a turnabout, because I realized there is one part of our usual formula that I do want to use for this episode.
What's that?
How did you first hear about Gunpla? What did you know about Gunpla before you got into it?
So what I knew about... Wait, before I got into it?
Well, before, and then how did you get into it?
Before this episode?
Yeah, before this episode, Alice didn't know anything, and now she's doing custom paints.
When Alice was an Eldritch horror, but younger, time is immemorial, Alice really liked Gundam.
Dog.
What?
Nothing.
I will never acknowledge my age. I'm time immemorial.
You're good.
Is that the right way to pronounce that
No,
word?
it's not, but I love it.
Time immemorial.
I'm time.
Your time
So-
that is. Okay.
When Gundam Wing came out, there were a couple other series that Toonami came out with. I was obsessed with Gundam. This is partially my history of Gundam as well, which is I loved when they first started showing Gundam Wing, and right after they started playing the original series, and I was like, this is my exact shit. They played it at 4 p.m. on Toonami. No matter where I was at, I would go and watch it. I structured my life around watching that as it aired. I remember very vividly being at a family friend's house in the pool and being like, what time is it? And they were like 3:55, and I was like, can I borrow a TV? Sopping wet, watching Amuro Ray fight Rambaral is a very vivid memory of my childhood.
That's beautiful.
That is beautiful. I love that very much.
I got into that. Then they did 08th MS Team. They did a lot of the other series that were out at the time. They never did Zeta, at least that I remember. They kind of just did the Safe series, which included, for some reason, 0080 or In the Pocket. So when the Gundam series came out, they started releasing plastic toys. Bandai did. So they were fully Actually, one second.
Oh, yeah. History piece.
Wait.
It's time for show and tell. Oh, Alice has got to escape the cube.
I'm stuck!
Her thing is a little Christmas romper. I didn't see that
Alice
before.
is wearing a beautiful... Another thing we didn't say, Alice just said, this is our bonus-ode. This is our bonus-ode because for those of us who celebrate, it's Christmas. For those of us who observe, it is currently Hanukkah while we record this.
It's actually Camphor. The whole month is Camphor.
The whole month is now Camphor. So Merry Camphor.
Merry Camphor.
Oh, Alice came back with a bin.
So these ain't Transformers, but... and some of these are knocked off. So they released all these little, like, fully movable kits.
That's a Shenlong.
Shenlong. The original Gundam. Oh, shit, we got a Gelgoog. Again, these are from my childhood, so they're all kind of, like, ripped apart. My favorite one was the 08th MS Team ones, just because I love their military dude look. There was another one I wanted to show you. See, like, they even did, like, little battle-damaged kits that were, like, burnt up and fucked up. They even released, like, ships from the series as kits with little mini versions and shit. Anyway, this is a whole ass tub of those.
It's a beautiful rainbow tub of Gundam.
It's a rainbow tub of Gundam. I'll just take a weird cryptid shot of it for the pod. But basically, I got into those. And why I got into those is they cost $5. And I could convince my parents to buy me one whenever we went to the big city, because the big city had a Walmart that carried them. So
and that was $5 then. What is the value now of $5 from then money?
So that was before 9/11. So I don't know.
Yeah, now that's like $400. Now we could sell those fucked up Gundams and buy a house.
Thanks, Joe. God. Gundam inflation. So I got into those.
Inflation?
The new Gundam series.
And then, so what ended up happening is I was into those for a while, and then like Toonami died, and they kind of moved to the late slot, and they stopped making.
R.I.P. Toonami.
They stopped making these little kits, and then I remember very vividly watching 0080 War in the Pocket on Adult Swim, on like staying up late, and I was like, I love these models. Like, that series has such specific models, and that was the first one I really latched onto, and I wanted a Hygog. You know, the big blue boy with the Palisades?
Yeah, we know the Hygog of this fucking household. Hell yeah.
So I bought a level 3 Hygog kit, and because I was like, there's no model of this, there's no plastic little toy of this, but I want one. And I got that, and I was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? And I put it together, and I was like, oh shit, this is so cool. And then I tried to play with it, and I didn't have glue, so it fell apart. I still have that somewhere in this house because I'm always like, that's my dream kit I'm gonna redo one day. But
that's beautiful.
So then I kind of fell off, but I've kind of done them off and on for years. And then this whole global pandemic happened, and I just like sat down and built kits for a while because that's something you can do without spreading a communicable disease.
Yeah.
True.
Anyway, so now I'll turn it back to you two. What did you guys know about Gunpla before we did this episode?
O'Brien?
I kind of didn't know shit. I know that my dad had toys I was like super not allowed to play with when I was little, and I didn't understand why, and now I understand why. Like, because he had Gunpla. He had a bunch of Gunpla of like Unit 0 was like the one that I remember he had. He had Unit 0, and I'm pretty sure I had the positron rifle too, which was sick. But yeah, that was pretty much it. And then like I kind of got cultural osmosis, but I'm really not a collector person. I'm not like super into merch or memorabilia unless it's like stickers or maybe a poster or two. But so I have never ever once felt inclined to like go out and get one. Until I started like noticing that I was actually super into mecha, and until we started talking about doing this podcast, and I was like, I remember like a year ago, I was like, I kind of want to try getting a kit, and then I just didn't. But
and then you did Mary Camphor,
and then I did Mary Camphor. This may end up being a problem, not necessarily because Gunpla is bad, but because as illustrated in an earlier conversation, I don't have any storage space, and yeah.
Just start hiding them in with the Transformers.
You can't really throw 50 of these in a tote. These are
No.
Well, you can, but you'll create what is, I think, Gunpla jungle juice.
Yeah.
Where if you want a figure, you have to just reach a random fist in there and just pull out whatever bits you get.
Yeah.
I hate that. I hate that metaphor.
It reminds me of the finale, spoilers for Anime Crimes Division Season 1, where they find him and he's like a serial killer, like kit bashing Gunpla together.
Think back on all the Gundam you've watched. It was fun, yes, but so flawed. I've removed those flaws.
Kit bashing is cool. There, I said it. Nico, what was your knowledge about Gunpla before we got into it?
So this is funny to me because, like, the person who got me into anime was not a model guy, like, not a model kit guy. It was more like DVD collections. So I am a collector. I once upon a time owned almost 7,000 issues of individual comics from Marvel and various brands, which I'm not proud of because let me tell you, they don't hold value and they don't resell well. Fortunately, I managed to dodge card games despite my brother's best efforts to try to get me into Magic the Gathering. But I got into miniature painting through role-playing games, right? So I really admired people who would have minis at role-playing game nights, and I really liked the really fine detail of the miniatures, and especially once I started seeing, like, you were talking about dioramas for the Gundams, Alice, like, when I started seeing people who had their minifigs on, like, terrains, and especially wargamers who would have, like, terrain pieces and stuff like that, and obviously there's overlap there. Because wargaming, there's things like Battletech, which are huge, and they've got your little mech figures and stuff. So I kind of started to see more like Gunpla and minifig, because there's an overlap in hobby shops, right? Like, yeah, it's easy to make money off both markets if you carry paints that work for airplane model kits, Gunpla, and minifigures. Like, you can just kind of capture the whole market. And so I started bumping into people and rubbing elbows with people who did Gundam kits. But the first time I ever saw a model kit put together was actually Adam Savage's YouTube channel.
Yeah, I was going to shout that out. Everyone, if you ever want to see a very good man's first attempt at a Gunpla, Adam Savage did a whole video on Untested about it. Or is it Tested? Tested, Untested?
I think it's Adam Savage's Tested. I used to watch that channel religiously.
Good introduction.
And I think I saw that one, but the one that really caught my attention was when he did a garage kit of an art figure. Like, and it was this really cool thing. He and one of his people there in the shop did 2 different paint finishes on it. And I was like captivated. So for a long time, I've wanted to do a kit, but I never saw myself as a Gunpla person, even though I know those were the most ubiquitous kits to find. And I had been in hobby shops, I'd seen the stacks of boxes. But I never felt like I knew I liked mecha. But again, like we talked about in our first bonus episode, like my introduction was like Pacific Rim and movies and stuff. So I didn't feel like I had a way in until this podcast. And then we started watching a bunch of stuff and I was like, actually, I would love that little figure. Now I'm in Brian's boat where I'm like, I could name like 3 more figures that I would want to get. And I had a good enough time putting these together. And like I said, like my background is more in minifig painting and doing, I got into terrain for minifigs. So I could see this being a black hole where I just start doing custom paints and dioramas. So.
Yeah, like I know deep in my heart I want a High Gog kit like soon because shoutouts to Brendan McLeod, known like TTRPG writer. He recently completed a High Gog with a custom paint job that is just so
That was
good.
the one that was like silver?
It was like a bluish silver, yeah. That was
really gorgeous.
So gorgeous. And I've been like thinking about it like every day. I want to paint something like that.
Nico, you have to promise me. So here's the thing about Gunpla, and we can kind of, then we'll get into our builds, but Gunplas are, because they are made in generally only a couple of factories, they do a run, and then that's it. They'll do reruns of a lot of kits that are popular, but if you want a specific, like, if a show is airing you like, and you want kits from it, you kind of have to be around when they release those kits to get them.
Oh, it's like an artificial scarcity thing?
So what I need you to agree to me is that you won't go and buy for $200 the Cherno Alpha kit that was released with the first Pacific Rim.
I looked at that. I didn't look at it recently, but when we first started doing this show, I went and looked.
That one I think was huge, right? That one is a big ass motherfucker.
Yeah, he's a tall boy. He's a 1/350, so he's
this is where I have. Oh, sorry, Brian, go ahead.
I was gonna say I guess I probably should have mentioned this when I was talking about what I already knew about Gunpla because one leg of that experience has been the SMM for this podcast, which means I'm on Mecha Twitter a lot, which like
Brian is our social media manager.
Which is like left hand Mecha Twitter, right hand Gunpla Twitter. Like they are literally the same being. And so I have seen like a shitload of memes and like different little cultural things since we started doing this podcast. So yeah, I've seen a bunch of like videos of different like there are kits you can get where it's like you need to like have a dolly to get them out of the store. Like,
and just the level of detail, like the best part about Gunpla, and here I'm gonna open up my heart to all of you and to our listeners.
Mary Camphor.
I just buy the HG kits because they're about $20. Usually I just put them together. I don't paint them because I just want a little guy on my shelf.
Yeah, totally.
I treat them like a puzzle. They're just super relaxing. And
I
you know
like
what?
that price point for it.
It's
Price point's
perfect.
great.
It's the perfect.
Yeah.
You can go above that. You can go all the way up to perfect grade, which like the perfect grade unicorn is like $300 without the light kit. Yes, you can get a light kit for it. They officially released one. So there's different levels of it, but I've never once had somebody be like, you're gunplaying wrong. But I can also go on YouTube and watch a Japanese man slowly build a kit with like a level of detail that's scary while his wife makes dinner in the background. Link in the description. I love that guy. I just put him on because he only talks in subtitles. He doesn't talk. So you just see the subtitles and then his wife cooking in the background as he's making this.
Shout outs to her. She's the backbone of his entire YouTube channel. You know this.
Yeah. Look, you know that man ain't cheating. You know that man ain't cheating.
Did I know this?
What?
Hold on.
No, I just said you know this because it's like a universal fact.
I was looking for something in Gunpla world, and I don't know if we talked about this.
What did we talk about? Jump in it. This is a freeform episode. We'll get into the build.
Our father Shoji, our father of the podcast, Shoji Kawamori, contributed main designs to Type the End from Eureka 7 and the Nirvash from Eureka 7, which I don't think I knew, but those are my favorite robots, and I'm like, my mind is blown.
This, but I think you brought it up once, but I hope you forgot it and then you got to have your mind blown again.
I definitely forgot it if we've already talked about it.
Honestly, new page on the web zone. We gotta have the shrine to him and everything he's done for Mecha.
We did a little
perfect.
We need a vintage aughts Shoji Kawamori shrine.
It's stupid to think about it now because those are the ones that transform into cars and jets, and I don't know why I didn't think of it before, or why I forgot it if I did.
I need to see the Type the End transform now. Now that I've seen it, I can't wait to watch that.
Oh yeah, but I was gonna say like. One thing that I think really helped like miniature painting is that there are so many, especially nowadays, like really nice, well-detailed, high-quality plastic models that you can get like for $3. And I'm sure that's not good on the back end of the economics and the exploitation of labor, but it makes it really easy to like get started and start playing with this stuff, and especially easy to do more ambitious stuff like kit bashing. Because kit bashing, I don't know if Alice obviously knows the term. I don't know if other people know the term. Kit bashing is usually when you take pieces of a different kit and you pull them either from like 2 kits or multiple kits and you create something custom. And usually, of course, you'll do custom paint on that and everything. It's a really cool way. Like I said, I come from the minifig world, so it's like if you wanted your minifigure to look like your character, you were probably kit bashing a few different characters to get pieces you wanted. But I imagine that's something like, what is the Gundam kit bashing scene like, if you know, Alice? Because like these are such iconic models and units. Like, to what extent do people do kit bashing?
Everyone does custom kits. Most people do custom colors because that's super fun. A lot of people try to build show accurate ones or like spin-off accurate ones, but like there's not going to be kits for everything. That's the thing. Yes, there's an RM, there's a GM kit. The little regular boy from Gundam, but there's not the variants of it that you see in the series. So if you want to make that, you might have to color it or edit it or rip it apart.
That makes sense.
But kit bashing kind of like it's a big thing in a lot of Gunpla competitions. You'll see that because there's custom categories, and I think it's really cool. Usually there are rules about like what you can kit bash for competitions. Usually they ask that you only use Bandai stuff or you only use high grade stuff depending on what you're competing in. But it's people do it. I do it. It's fun. It's easy. You have plastic. Again, no rules, just right, Applebee's.
But I remembered what I was going to say earlier.
What were you going to say earlier?
you were talking about like the scarcity of kits and like how it's kind of an artificially induced scarcity. And so like if there's a show you like, you need to go get those kits because they'll probably be discontinued and then they'll be $1 million in the future. That is one place I do have some hope for, not conventional 3D printing, but a lot of people who are pulling 3D models and like putting them on Thingiverse and stuff. Not to be like you wouldn't download a car, but I do love the idea that after a run, there's this artificial scarcity induced and then people are just like, shit, I'll print you a Gundam. Or especially as things like resin printers and the powder printers make them so you can get a little closer to seamless.
That or wholesale like fabricated, like Friends at the Table is never going to sign up with a fucking plastic injection company. So like there is room down the road for someone to make like a sick fucking like Bellegarde Gunpla. I would buy that immediately.
Ooh.
Yeah, I love that idea space. I love that we're getting to the point where somebody could draw something up in like Blender even as a totally free program.
Yeah, that's how you make things in Blender. You draw them. That's how Blender works.
I come from visual arts. No, I'm kidding. But like, somebody could model something in Blender and then like you could have a kit of your guy from your podcast with no visuals or your book or whatever. I think that's just a really cool frontier for this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I personally want a Bandai sponsorship out of this podcast, so I'm going to say, hey guys, never download official Bandai files or media and print it, because that's wrong.
It would so be a shame if the people who made us play Gundam Evolution had some of their kits pirated. It would be such a shame.
Hey guys, when you put things onto Metaverse, don't use your actual 3D files that you use for your kits. Kind of a stupid thing to do as a company.
Just a little bit.
I was about to say, I don't know how realistic it is to hope for a Bandai sponsorship, but they did fund Jivo, so anything is possible.
Yeah, I've seen them sponsor Kakarot 197 on YouTube, my favorite Gundam news YouTuber. He's sponsored by them. They just send him shit. I love him. Anyway, all of this to say, models are cool, but we're not just here to talk about them in concept. We did something a little more hands-on. You can't see it, but I'm winking at camera.
And I'm wiggling my fingers.
Yeah.
That's for you, listeners. After this break.
Hey, Nico here in the break. Just wanted to let you know that while this is a podcast, and we'll always do our best to describe visuals we're commenting on, we'll also include links to the mechs and images we discuss in the show notes, and post actual photos on our show website. Along with that, make sure to check the show notes for content warnings as appropriate to the episode. That's all for now. Back to the show.
So I came to my friends here and I said, hey, you know what would be fun to do for like a New Year's or Christmas episode, just like as a bonus? We should probably cover Gunpla. It's a big part of Mecha and something you guys don't have hands-on yet with. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to send them out to you. Things happened.
Shit happens.
How this ended up being is we all didn't know what each other was going to get as a kit. I knew what Brian was going to get because I wrapped it for him and mailed it to him. Nico knew what they were going to get because they ordered it from Amazon, but I didn't know until they told us. And they didn't know what I had because I constantly have a stack of boxes to pull from sitting next to my desk where I build these. So what kit did everyone build? I'll go first. I built the MS-18E Camphor from 0080 War in the Pocket. Brian, what did you build?
I also built the letters and numbers that you said Camphor from War in the Pocket.
Wow, that's so weird.
How serendipitous.
What about you, Nico?
You know what's wild is I also built a kit from 0080 War in the Pocket. You may not have heard of this one. I mean, I think it was only in like one episode, but I built the Camphor.
Merry Camphor!
Merry Camphor! We fucked up and all had the same.
So we all built the Camphor together. Well, not together, but like...
together. We were all sitting around the dining room table.
It was like homework for the pod. We all had to go and build this kit to come and report back on our experiences.
I cannot explain to you enough that this was not intentional. Yeah, Alice was like... Oh my god, the stages of ideation of this idea, initially it was supposed to be like a Secret Santa thing, where we each knew kind of like a model or models the others liked, and so we were going to order each other the kits. But then it was like, okay, that wasn't really going to be financially feasible, and Alice is like, I really want to do this episode, I will get you the kits, don't even worry about it. Alice sets out to do this. supply chain issues is what I'm blaming this for. But basically, Alice, like, the other day was just like, oh God, Nico, your kid is not going to get there in time. I'm so upset. Like, we're not going to get to do this episode. And I said, don't even worry about it. I'm going to go on Amazon and see what I can get ASAP that I would like to keep. And of course, it was the can.
Nico posted this in our channel. I had already mailed one to Brian. It was on the way to him. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to say anything. And then I went over to the stack next to my thing and I was like, oh yeah, I do have one of those. And I pulled it out and I said, well.
And like, if it was unintentional, but if you didn't notice, or if you're new here, like, War in the Pocket is like unofficially kind of the groundbreaking moment for this podcast. It was a show that we all watched together, like kind of before the conception of the podcast. It was what we recorded our like practice episode on. And then it is also, the camphor itself is also, or a forbearance or likeness of it.
A legally distinct inspired
of it is our cover art. If you look at the On the Shoulders of Giants cover art, that features a legally distinct illustration.
You can tell because the stripe on the antenna is a different color.
Yeah.
Fuck with me, Bandai.
also, the camphor in canon is only active at night, and it's visibly sunset in the cover art, so...
It legally distinct.
So it was unintentional, but kind of really perfect. And we all have a matching camphor Gunpla now, which is just so, like, incredible.
It's perfect.
Mine is sitting on the shelf holding me a Gunpla.
Well, I loved it because I loved that series. And when I saw the camphor the first time, that was really one of those wow, cool robot moments that I had.
Yeah.
And so knowing that you both also wow, cool robot at the camphor made me so happy.
It was the first moment where I was like, okay, actually maybe Gundam whips, because like I've only ever seen the blocky samurai guys and they're fine, but then this motherfucker rolled up navy, like midnight blue. I again, wow, cool robot. I was blown away. And so yeah,
just the badass of a Spec Ops mech were like, gotta paint it blue. Should we make it camo? Blue. So mecha.
She's so gorgeous. And again, the injection plastic, whatever the hell, it is such a gorgeous color. Like the kit itself is a gorgeous color. I was so pleased with this. I'm glad we did this one.
Let's step through a kit together and you all tell me your feelings as we go through it. So a Gunpla kit, it comes in a box.
Beautiful illustration of violence.
Oh, you get a really cool illustration of violence as the cover, and then on the side it shows you what you could do with this kit. Wow. If you're like a professional who does this for a living. And so you pop open the kit. Inside are a bunch of plastic bags with sprues in them. A sprue is just for those who, you should just look at a picture of this. It's very simple, but it's a rectangle
It's the plastic grid thing, yeah.
Yeah. You've ever built Warhammer or anything?
It's what they're making the Gunbuster 3 in Gunbuster in.
Yeah, I was about to say that was my only other exposure to Gunpla.
Very good. You get a couple of different ones. Each one is assigned a letter. Sometimes in some kits you'll get duplicates if they have like you need 2 B's because there's 2 arms kind of bullshit.
Right.
And then depending on the kit, you can get up to X and then back to AA for some of the huge kits. Each little piece has a corresponding number with it. So on the sprue, there's a little color, there's a little number that shows you. So you are looking for the letter and the number. You also get a little manual that tells you how to assemble this. It has some instructions in Japanese and English, tells you about what tools you need, but it very clearly says, really all you need is some tweezers or pliers. Did you guys expect this when you opened the box? Is this what you expected a Gunpla to look like unassembled?
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. I was really pleased, like I said. I've seen so much painting, and I assume that's on higher difficulty, or like you've told us, like the first grade kits and things that came totally unpainted. I was expecting to do some amount of painting for whatever reason. So I was really jazzed when I pulled out the sprues, which I used the technical term, the thingies, when I was describing this to Brian.
The thingies.
You've gotta handle the thingies. I was really pleased when I pulled out the sprues and I was seeing the different ones. I was really fucking jazzed about the clear plastic one for the beam sabers.
Yes, the piss sprue.
The piss yellow beam saber
for the beam sabers, so that it's a translucent beam saber, but it's piss yellow.
I love the clear plastic. I love the little decals. They were so precious. And then I also, like I said, I kind of lost my mind when I got to the really wiggly, what did you call that again? The internal bits that are standard, like the little connector pieces.
I just call them the PCS.
PCS, that's what I was looking for. So like I got really jazzed about that because you can feel the texture of the plastic is totally different. And I was like, whoa, what are these for?
Those snapped off in a really satisfying way.
Oh, yeah.
With the little X-Acto blade thing, just to like clip them. Oh my god, that was my favorite shit to do.
So how I learned on Gunpla, I didn't have clippers for the longest time, and I would just use an X-Acto. So you basically just use a straight blade, and I would nip them off very carefully. It would usually leave a little bit of residue that you could pretty easily get up.
I feel like that was more effective. My nipping was pretty nasty, so I feel like that has more control.
So my clippers, so there's different levels. Again, like with any hobby, there's a kind of clipper called a God hand clipper. It is such a perfect clip that it can cut from a sprue without leaving distress. What distress is when you put pressure on plastic and don't break it, it will discolor to white as you pull the plastic. That's one of the hardest things with these is getting rid of the distress points and the seams. So depending on where you would cut one, if you were to just use a regular old nipper, you can cut too close and you'll get like a big stress mark. There are different ways to do that. If you're going to paint, it's not an issue. I used to just usually use my thumbnail and I would scrape it until the discoloration was pulled off. It works. Not great if you're close up, but from a distance, it works great. But I use a pair of Ace Hardware clippers I bought for $4.
I have to make a very bad joke real quick.
Yes. Ready.
Was God Hand Clipper in Kill la Kill?
You haven't even seen it. It's a bad joke. Brian, I need you to address that. Your thoughts?
I don't have thoughts. Just hatred.
Brian was left taken aback and full of hatred. Okay, Alice, please continue about your Ace Hardware nippers.
I got Ace Hardware clippers. But yeah, usually you'll clip it far enough away and then use the X-Acto to cut off those little nips. You can sand it down, some people do, which is easy. And then
I did mine super nasty style. So when I ordered the camphor to be launched at my location as quickly as possible, which again under 24 hours, I fucking hate Amazon, but Lord God, they launched that thing out of a tube to my location. I also ordered like a Gunpla kit because I have a lot of kits from my mini painting, but I didn't have like nippers and I didn't have tweezers, and so I was like, it's probably smart for me to just get this kit.
They're called clippers. Nippers is the wrong word. I don't want you to fall into that trap. I was doing a bit. It's clippers. Anyway.
But yeah, so I got this kit. This is the jankest shit on earth. This is a PSA. Do not order Gunpla kit, toolkit off of fucking Amazon. Go to your hobby shop, ask what they recommend, ask a friend, go to YouTube, do anything but this, because I paid $9 and I'm returning it. But I paid $9. They had just emery boards from the Dollar Tree in there. I'm like, what am I going to do with these?
I don't know what...
Get some nails on fleek.
Alice took extremely good care. She probably did the same to you, Nico, in terms of when you'll get your Ashimar. But she gave me like a great X-Acto blade with a fucking fantastic handle, glue that worked extremely well the one time I had to use it. And it wasn't, I had to use glue once, and it wasn't because I broke something. It was because I forgot to put a socket into something that would have received something else.
Oh.
So I just decided to glue it into the slot.
Yeah.
Because it's a static piece. It doesn't need to move. So I just did that. And it worked beautifully. That glue is perfect.
Meanwhile, I had my very brave spouse's janked wire cutting jewelry clippers. I was like, these are good enough. Spoiler, they were not. And then the kit arrived from Amazon the next day, and most of it was garbage, but the tweezers were decent and the clippers were decent. So I did a lot of re-clipping to try to get rid of some of the spurs, and I don't think I did very great. That's why I said I think the X-Acto probably gave you better control, Bri.
I have a couple of little visible white spots in places, but I expected that, and I knew it was my first kit, and I wasn't like looking to be extravagant or anything.
Yeah, unless you're submitting to a competition, it's for you. Like, that's the thing about this.
I will say the camphor does tell on you a little bit more because she is this gorgeous midnight blue, but again, it's for us. So I was just like, I look at her, I can't see any bad points.
Is it time to post photos?
We can post photos if you want.
I think we do it. I want you, so you guys go first and then I'll show you mine, which...
Yeah, Alice did a custom one.
Alice did a custom paint.
Yeah.
We are all so stoked. It's for a competition.
These are some of my progress pics. I'm just gonna send some. That's me.
Yeah, I
holding her
kind of want to see
little
how
head.
your experience went. Oh my god, holding the little head.
I found it extremely satisfying to complete parts of it and then put those parts on the instruction sheet where they were located. So I was doing that.
It's so satisfying to build a Gunpla and to slowly place it out like that. Oh, this is so cute.
And then...
Please tell me you have one with all of it not yet clipped together, just laying on there.
Most of it. Here's the torso, at least. This was when I left to go, like, make the pie and shit. That was how far I'd gotten.
Oh, the little steppers. I loved his little Nikes.
Top of a boy.
And then the completed product in the snow.
Yeah, there's like not many like parts, and the application of the sticker is super good. Like especially the one on the horn. That one was difficult.
That one was really difficult. Yeah,
it was pretty tough.
Yes, Piss Saber in the snow.
It's so good. He's in the snow,
good. Just like in 0080. Wait,
yeah, where
snow.
Sydney was covered in snow. Mine loaded in. You could see where I'm misappropriating technology that was supplied by my very brave spouse's workplace. So I took over my dining room table to do the build, and then you could see my final build. I went with the full fucking crazy ass loadout. You can load the camphor down for fucking bear. Like, there's so many weapons you can put on this.
That Gunpla kit.
I literally felt like I was in Armored Core in real life. There were so many weapons with this fucking thing.
Well, it has every weapon that it has in the show. Literally.
Yeah.
Like, they are very good about that.
Yep. And it also had, one thing I made a note of is it had two...
Oh, and you did the water slide decals.
They weren't water slide for me, I don't think. They were just stickers, but they were clear plastic.
Dope.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so I was anxiously, because I had heard the word water slide before, and I was like, am I going to be temporary tattooing my
I tried to get a kit without water slide intentionally.
Yeah. And now you can,
the
the last photo, you can see my shelf above my podcast recording setup. That gun is pointed directly at my forehead. I discovered when I sat down.
Take me down, camper. Mary Camper, take me out.
Did I put my Palisades on backwards, I think. That's interesting. I didn't even notice that.
You sure did. Wrong shoulders.
Oh, that's so funny.
Your box.
I put the legs on wrong until I realized that you're supposed to be able to mount the extra RPGs on the knee joint. And I was like, I have got these motherfuckers totally backwards. But that's one of the things, like you said, it's like the difference between a kit that you glue together and a kit that you snap together. Mm-hmm. This was so forgiving for a first-time builder because I put so much shit together ass backwards. So there's two little vents on the camphor that are in yellow plastic, right? And those seat inside their own little mount that you snap into the torso piece. I was trying to seat the yellow, little... the decoration, and I fully snapped something inside that assembly and did not want to take it apart and reassemble. And so the only glue I ended up using for this was I very gently shook that piece down and held it in place with tweezers and dabbed just a little glue. So because it's totally visual and it's not part of the articulation of the model. So that's the only time I had to use glue. But I mean, I broke it. I misassembled shit. I did so much jank shit, but this model was so forgiving and it came out so beautiful. I love it so much.
Both of your kits came out great. Really love it, guys. What was about your approximate build time?
This is interesting because I think this shows a difference in method. Bri, you said yours was how long?
It's kind of hard to say because I took like one pretty long break. But I started it at about 10 a.m. I think I took my break at like 11. Mm-hmm. And then I think it was probably like 3 hours altogether.
Yeah, I think I spread mine out over about 3 days, but mine took about 4 to 5. And I think the only reason it did that is because I made an error in step 1, which it turns out I've only ever seen like a really good Gunpla builder do the setup phase. And when I saw him do that, he was nipping everything out of the sprues, just nipping them out. And I was like, this must be how you get started. Like when I opened an IKEA piece of furniture from IKEA and spread out all the parts. So I nipped all of my fucking shit out of the sprues into labeled bins. I will say they weren't just random. You can see in the second photo of my setup, I have labeled bins for A, B, C, D, and E. But I nipped them out of all of the fucking areas that had the numbering. And I think the extra hour and a half on my build time compared to Brian was legitimately because I spent so much time staring into the Tupperwares going, which one of you is B7?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would never have even thought to do it that way. I've seen TikToks where it's like they'll do a montage of all the clipping, but similar to like cooking TikToks, it's like those people are doing it because it looks good on a camera and it's like ASMR. And like when I was like going into it, I was like, my brain, I already knew my own limitations, and I was like, I'm just going to follow the instructions exactly and not do anything extra. Now, I did do this whole kit without reading anything. There were a bunch of warnings in Japanese throughout the whole process, and I was like, I don't know what that says, but I'm just going to keep going, I guess.
All of them come with little images to tell you what not to do that you can then reference in the English part. Just so you know.
Yeah, I didn't fucking do that. I have had a lifetime of speaking English and 4 years of formal instruction in Japanese. I didn't use jack shit of any of it.
I'll look at picture. Yeah, so I will say clipping everything out is a painting technique.
That makes sense.
For most people.
I think that's what the guy was doing.
Yeah, but I've also seen people just do it. Honestly, once you've built these for a while, you can kind of piece it. It's like a puzzle.
And I feel like if you actually had, like I know for like mini figures and stuff, like you can get like sorting trays that have numbering on it. So hypothetically, like you could clip into numbered and lettered trays if that was like more useful to you. But yeah, I did it stupid style and then I paid for it repeatedly.
Yeah, it's just a workflow style. I mean, some people like to do all of the clipping and sanding before they even start assembly because they don't want to have to go back and do more of that. And
that
like
makes sense.
Valid, I guess.
And I've seen, like, I think Adam Savage covered that in his video that we were talking about, is like the difference between painting after assembly and painting before assembly. And like painting before assembly obviously is going to be cleaner. In any place where there's accidentally a gap, you're covered because you've already painted the whole piece. But also, I could get why people would paint after assembly because you kind of know where the shadows are going to fall and how it all looks together. So, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, those were words. I agree.
The shine is hitting. The
shine is hitting. No, I totally get that. So, yeah, it can take a certain amount of time. Mine, so here's the $20 twist. My custom is not yet finished. I ran out of purple.
Oh, no.
And have not made it to the store to get more. But what I did grab is, so way back, I got a real grade camphor because I loved the camphor long before we ever thought of this podcast, and it was a brief dream in our heart. So a real grade is a couple levels above a regular grade or a high grade. Basically, it costs more and there's more pieces. So it's a little bigger usually. This is the so this is the real grade camphor that I built. Actually, this might be master grade. I'd have to find the thing for it, but I did paint this one. I made it a little too glossy.
The high shine paint.
I wanted it to kind of look. The lines aren't great. I made this when I was younger. That's what I'll say. Again, this was for me. I wasn't trying to. I never submitted this to a competition.
She's so beautiful.
I love this.
That's my girl.
Oh my god, I love that the piping on the camphor, which in the high grade kit is just like plastic, and this is like a textured fiber cord or something. I love that.
It's supposed to look like a twisted deck cord and everything.
Oh my god, Alice, it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Also, same loadout.
Always have to have every single weapon attached if I'm going to fight the Gundam Alex.
Well, except for the beam saber. I'm glad Bri came out here for the beam saber because my number one regret was putting that in the plastic baggie.
I was not going to finish all the weapons. I was just like, I'm going to give it a loadout that I would want to have in like Armored Core. So I did.
That's a good loadout for Armored Core on your camper. I love that. Meanwhile, we're about to create war crimes in a neutral colony. Let's fucking go.
Oh, but you can tell on this, so the amount of yellow pieces on our kits were way more minimal compared to the...
Yeah.
You get the plumage exhausts. Mine had yellow pieces, so something with the master grade and the perfect grade is the internals are much more detailed, and that's good for people who do customs like battle damage stuff, so you can have exposed interiors and stuff.
Oh, that's really cool.
And so there's a really nice frame on the inside of this that I don't have a good photo of, but... Yeah, that's my story.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. So overall, it's a fun thing. It's a thing that you can do, set, and come back to at any point. It's just, I keep going back to, it's like a puzzle. But with instructions. It's just something like cross stitch you can kind of just do and relax, post on Instagram to your friends and be like, look at the dumb thing I made. you can take it really hard and make a career out of it. You know, there's different ranges of it. Another reason I want to do this is because of the Gundam metaverse. So...
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You've heard of the metaverse, right?
I'm on Mecha Twitter, so yes.
I don't know about it, but I'm afraid because anytime anything says metaverse, I'm like, oh, Lord.
This cool android Mark Zuckerberg made a metaverse, which you can get to with your Meta Quest. And Gundam and Bandai put in like a little P-Bandai shop and all this cool stuff. And one of the big things that they're doing is to kind of drive engagement, especially on custom builds. So currently, as of time of this record, and a little before the first season will end at the end of December, basically you can take a kit that you make. It must be a Bandai high-grade kit, so the entry-level kit. You can take it to a local affiliate store. So I'm very fortunate that I both have hobby stores and a specialized Gunpla store in my town.
Ooh.
That narrows down where I'm at. The hunt is on.
Well, we all know that you are within a bleep hour radius of Pittsfield, Iowa.
That's right. A bleep hour radius of Pittsfield. I forgot that one. We're going to narrow it. I did get some of this research from the Iowa Gundam Society, I think it's called.
God bless. I'm sorry, I just got a powerful, beautiful image of, like, if mechs become real and we've got to recruit just some beautiful corn-fed Iowa people getting their mechs.
It's the beginning of the Star Trek reboot.
Yeah.
But you can take it into a local store, they 3D scan it, and it gets put into the metaverse for you. It's a static model, but it's a cool little... And then you post it to Instagram, people vote. You can be in local brackets. It's a cool little thing.
Okay.
Certainly nothing happened with that and like 3D files being pulled from it or anything. I don't know. Probably something else.
That's so fucking funny.
Google Gundam Metaverse.
Hey,
3D printing.
Hey, just out of respect for Bandai, it would just be a real shame if anybody Googled like Gundam Metaverse CAD leak or anything like that.
That'd be terrible.
That would be really unfortunate for Bandai.
Out of respect for Bandai, it'd be really bad if you like Googled that information and then like you went and met up with your friend who has a resin printer.
Yeah.
You would want to use a resin printer, but that would just be terrible for Bandai if you did that.
You shouldn't do that, especially knowing that the resin printer can do really fantastic translucent effects and you could make technically like a clear case Gundam. Don't do that.
I'm playing with my little guy. Nope. That came out a little wrong, I think.
I'll admit, I'm a kit gluer. I glue my kits together.
I was going to ask about that. Because there's one thing. I've got my guy here. I'm pointing at the spikes on the shoulder pauldrons. Mm-hmm. They go on pretty secure. But that was my first thought when I was like, I don't know to what extent I'm supposed to be gluing. I'm not gluing anything, but I feel like that would benefit from glue.
So here's the Alice corner, the Alice corner minute. Mm-hmm. Number one, be confident enough that you're not going to have to reassemble parts.
Yeah.
Because most model glue and plastic glue will actually cement these things together and you cannot pull them apart. So don't be an eco. Follow the instructions correctly.
Wow.
Number two.
Wow.
Got my ass.
She came hard. Rule of thumb, this is the Alice rule of thumb. This doesn't apply for anything over high-grade kits. For those, you should know better. Anything that isn't the PCS or the soft plastic, glue.
Okay.
Only the plastic parts are things that are going to move. It's very easy to remember that. That's it. They give you enough pieces to make every hand, and they can just switch off. You don't have to ever switch any of the other smaller pieces. So glue it.
Yeah, like the only part you wouldn't glue is where you can take it apart to like put the finger on the trigger, but otherwise like you could put the back of the hand on there and like
yeah.
That makes sense. I think probably so I pissed myself off. This is such a small detail. So on the strip mines for the camphor. First of all, you can see in my photo compared to your photo, Alice, I did not double check the reference image and realize that all of the like spiked sticky mines, all 4 of those are at the end of the chain, and instead I evenly spaced them throughout my chain.
Sure did.
I also have the mines oriented in just whatever the fuck direction because I didn't realize that they were detailed enough that there was something on the face of the mines. And in the photos, it's so funny. In the photos on the high-grade box, they show a yellow decal or paint dot on these mines, which obviously is not shipped with them because there'd be a million yellow dots. So my first thought when I put this together was like, ooh, I'm going to go, because of course I got paints. I was like, I'm going to go get the paints and I'm going to do the yellow dots. And then I realized I had assembled the strip mine just the jankest way possible.
I did the same thing, but I noticed the reference image. I just like didn't care because, I mean, if real ones know, he just fucking overhand tosses them at a Gundam anyway. It doesn't fucking matter, y'all. Like,
it matters.
That shit is in frame for like 2 seconds and then explodes.
Nico said, "My immersion."
Okay, but it is the two hardest seconds of Gundam 0080.
It's true.
When he
You ever
whips
just
that
punch
shit out.
a trailer and whip out strip mines?
It was so good. But so I think what I will do eventually, it's just I got to the point last night where I was just staring at the strip mines going, do I want to take this whole motherfucker apart right now, or do I want to go to bed? So I'm thinking in the future I will take those apart, reassemble them correctly, get them oriented correctly, dop some paint on there, and maybe glue them, because I think that and the spike pieces on the pauldron are the ones I'm number one like worried about when I handle the thing. I'm worried about all the mines popping apart, and I'm worried about the pauldron. So
Brian, what do you worry about when you manhandle Gunpla?
I think what I'm about to glue down are just the weapon racks. Because my rocket launcher just fell off.
They are a little loosey-goosey.
yeah.
When I was handling it just now. And I think that's probably it. If I cared enough to glue, then I care enough to put the shoulders back the right way, because I also noticed one of the yellow parts is facing the wrong direction. But I don't, and I just love my wife the way she is. So
My wife.
I love my wife the way I built her. Jot that down.
Is the camphor our shared wife?
The camphor is all of our wives and highs. I kept
Are we the
switching
sister
pronouns.
wives of the camphor?
I kept switching pronouns when I described the camphor, because at one point I described it as a short king. And so I've just decided camphor uses any pronouns, and it is all of our wives.
All mobile suits, all mecha use any pronouns, specifically except for the Nirvash, which is very specifically uses she, her pronouns.
Sorry. Of course you're Midnight Blue and you have pronouns.
Worst joke.
Mobile suits born after the year UC 0080 only know how to eat hot chip and lie and be Midnight Blue.
I will say, so the kit that Alice actually got me, of course, real ones know, is the Ashimar. It is on its way to my location.
Guys, I'm gonna name and shame on this podcast because we're never gonna get sponsored by them. The BigBadToyStore.com, while it does have many kits, most always have like an estimated release date. And they will generally just put it out whenever they think they'll get it. And if they ever have a delay, they just up that to the next month consistently until it's available.
Oof,
so
rough.
you can pre-order something that says it's going to be available in November, and it can be December 20th, and you're still waiting for it to ship.
Yeah, but someday it will be closing the distance between me and my location. And I was just thinking about as I put this kit together.
We're going to be so surprised when it happens.
I know,
can't
it's going to
wait.
be fun. But like, I love the fact that I got a lot of the trial and error out of the way. Like, I'm obviously not going to be clipping everything out of the spruce when I assemble my beautiful Ashimar.
Are you going to color that one? Sorry, paint that one?
I might do a custom paint. I will say, as much as I love the avocado and burnt sienna look of the
What's wrong with that color palette, Brian? You know color. That's a great color palette, right?
For what?
They're contemporary.
What is
contemporary
avocado and burnt
colors.
sienna? What are we talking about?
70s kitchen.
Ashimar?
70s kitchen or the Ashimar.
No, actually, I kind of like its colors. That's like the kind of the one thing I like about it.
It's fine, but I've got my fingers crossed for an airbrush kit for Christmas, so I'm kind of thinking I might be able to do something really cool with it. So.
I need to get one. I've been putting it off.
They have them at Harbor Freight. They're pretty good.
I'm gonna get a good one that's quieter than that. So,
do y'all remember those fucked up fucking Crayola markers they released in the 90s that were like you would actually blow in them?
No.
We were really inhaling color as
really
children.
were. I had those. It was it was quote unquote airbrush. It was like Crayola markers, and it had this little apparatus. You would put a Crayola marker in it, and you would physically blow. And these were little kids. You know, it wasn't just like the marker ink.
Yeah.
That was saliva, mama. They were spitting the ink onto the paper, mothers. Let's all be real for a moment. Gross.
Oh,
God.
found the I found a reference image finally. I was looking for a good one. It was somehow worse than this.
Oh God, I do remember these. The crazy
the
art
one was
blow
even worse.
pins.
Yeah. Blow pins.
Yes, this is what I had.
Box becomes desk is what I say when I refuse to unpack.
Box becomes desk.
Imagine they start putting that on Gunpla. Box becomes battlefield.
Yeah, box becomes backdrop that I took photo
Box
against.
becomes theater of operations.
I did want to share because I finally got my final coat on some of the pieces. I want to talk about this purple. I'm very happy with the purple.
Oh my
for
God,
this.
it's gorgeous.
It's so pretty. Look at how many tweezers you have.
I was about to say, average user only has one set of tweezers. Alice is an outliner.
So I do have like
tweezers Georg. Alice, we have matching X-Acto knives.
There's a reason I got you it. It's the one I use and I love it.
This is such a gorgeous purple. Photos will be on osgpod.com.
That's my new cutting mat I just got. Too.
Y'all have got to go to the website. I cannot stress enough that the website is
It's such a good website.
It's such a good website.
We did so good. We are so good.
Have you seen the Special Little Guys Hall of Fame? It's an important webpage that chronicles special little guys. And the one for this episode is going to be the camper.
No, it's going to be the Mary camper, which is a picture of a camper that we Photoshop a hat onto.
Yeah, Mary Camper.
Mary Camper.
Alice, I'm obsessed with this cutting board. It's very you. It's beautiful.
I need
Well, I was
one.
like, well,
I'm
we're gonna
shopping for one
record
right
this.
now.
Joann's, when they do half off sale, or they'll do like 40% off single item, you can get these very affordable and like a bigger size.
I have an 11 by 17, and then I also have like a little like 5 by 7. That's good if you're doing something really small or if you refuse to clean off your desk.
My dream is to have the full table one.
Oh yeah.
And be a trad wife. A trad gunpla wife.
Trad gunpla wife. Hey, if you're looking for a trad gunpla wife this holiday season.
Yeah, I have this really, really cool like 1960s diner table.
It is really gorgeous.
That I definitely just cut all the pieces directly onto.
No!
You can always refinish the surface.
Hey, we're going to start a Ko-fi just to get Brian a self-healing mat. I'm kidding. But yeah, we got to get you one of those
Brian,
on sale.
get a self-healing when you look.
Yeah, I'm
critical.
just going to be at work on our 100 by 96 backlit self-healing table doing Gunpla after hours.
Oh, that's my dream. Yeah, so that was our build experience. I guess I kind of want to circle back, and there is something very important we need to do, guys. And I know it's a bonus episode, but we gotta rate these goddamn mechs.
Oh, shit. Okay.
We're gonna go around the horn, and we're all gonna say, give our thoughts on this mecha that we're discussing today. We're gonna go over them, and then we're gonna give our final score. For legal purposes, this is not included in our ranking of episodes because this is a bonus episode and thus excluded from the running, but the scores live on in our hearts. I'll go first and get it out of the way. Guys, I love Gunpla. 10 out of 10 for me. That's it. Brian, what about you?
I'm not like I'm not a very good hobbyist. A lot of the things I've tried to do and tried to get into have been resoundingly unsuccessful. This was not one of those things. I believe I may be entering an era, and it is all thanks to the camphor, so this is also a 10 out of 10 for me. I've always loved this mech I shouldn't say always. Since we first watched this together, I have loved this mech very, very much. I am very excited to have a little guy on my shelf that is her.
Nice.
If you ever need to work on anything, it's really nice to have her pointing a gun at you.
Nico, what are your thoughts and your rating?
See, I was gonna give the controversial score of a 10 out of 10 because I had a lot of fun with this. And not only did I have a lot of fun doing it, and it scratched the part of my brain that loves building IKEA furniture and literally got drafted into building someone's bed frame last weekend because they just knew, well, Nico will want to do this. I enjoyed the fuck out of building this. I loved every time I started assembling a weapon and realized there were 500 more weapons to make for this thing.
You just keep making more weapons.
More weapons. I have to give it an 11 out of 10 controversial score because I'm so excited to see how the purple one that Alice has made turns out because these paints are so beautiful.
Y'all don't even know. Go to the website. Look at this purple.
Oh, it's such a beautiful purple.
We're gonna get on just a shitty ass Discord call, and I'm gonna live reveal it to you so we can get that for the pod. I think we need to.
Start
I need a live
screaming.
react.
Yeah.
I'm in. live camphor react.
Alice.
Hey guys, it's us from the future. Alice has completed her custom camphor, and we are now going to discuss it. If that's okay with you.
You don't have a choice.
You don't have a choice.
I may become pregnant live on air.
So to give the context of what I tried to do with this is based on Mobile Suit.
This is based
Battle Operation 2 Code Fairy, which is a standalone game. And so this is the Alice Special Camphor Custom.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
So beautiful.
So this is my beautiful baby. I used a pink metallic coating for the guns because I love chromed guns. I gave it a minigun in honor of the Goof Custom from Double 08th MS team. I did get rid of most of the other weapons except for one shotgun because I love the camphor shotgun. The color is kind of like a purplish color with a white undercoating.
It's so gorgeous.
It's so pretty. What the fuck? I'm just looking at the details. Oh, this is a perfect reason to post that reaction image.
What reaction image?
Don't worry about it. It's so pretty, Alice. I really like it. It turned out really
nice.
So that's the camphor that I made. Sorry it took me so long to show you guys. I really wanted to get the colors right.
Oh my god, and you did. You got the colors right.
It's so wonderful. I love it so much.
Do you want to know a little fun fact about this?
Yes.
You can't move those hands. I had to glue the hand holding the minigun to it because it kept pulling out of the socket from the weight of the gun.
That'll happen.
It'd be like that sometimes.
Anyway, there will be updates with this because as part of the metaverse, there are upgrades throughout the event. So I will be adding on to this and changing things, and I'm very excited.
Holy shit. Okay. That is exciting.
But yeah, that's it. Thank you for live reacting with me. Anyway, back to the episode. Wow, that's great. Our highest ranking episode yet.
For the first 11 out of 10.
So when we come back from the break, we won't have a game, but we will be watching a show together. Hey, hello, it's Alice. So I'm doing a different ad read this time because most of the people listening to this episode are probably weird, creepy Gunpla people. Not you. You're like one of the sexy, good-looking Gunpla people. But basically why I'm doing this is we are a new podcast. And because of that, we're trying to grow our listenership. And I would love if you Gunpla freaks would stick around. I'll be sure to pay you fan service and include you in the conversation because Gunpla is pretty cool. But if you could share this with your Gunpla friends or your other weird mech friends. Not you, you're handsome, beautiful, sexy. Oh my god, you're dashing in that outfit. You already probably a listener, you've probably hit subscribe, but you should include your friends, invite them, and we would really appreciate that. And please, I'm serious about sending me pictures of your Gunpla. I want to see them. Send me unsolicited Gunpla pics. I would really appreciate it. Anyway, let's head back to the episode.
We have a video to watch?
We're gonna watch a video. So rather than a game this time, because all of the games I thought of, it would just be you two guessing because you don't know much about Gunpla. And guess which kit I've built was kind of just me bragging about what kits I've built.
I slam the buzzer and just say all of them.
Oh, that's the trick question. So instead, there's this wonderful website called Gundam.info. I know that sounds very fake and full of malware. That is the official website of Bandai and Gundam.
Can I say something very quickly about this website, which is very funny? This is a place where I looked for early gifts. So those who don't know, the fake ones who haven't gone to osgpod.com, don't know that we have a beautiful Web 1.0 website hosted by NeoCities, which is full of beautiful GIFs and early HTML formatting. It is a wonderful website. Alice has done an incredible job on it. One of the first places I started looking for like Gundam GIFs and Mecha GIFs was by going to the Wayback Machine and going to Gundam.info to go look at the graphics that they had hosted, which have been snapshotted from the 90s. And it is a joy. So go to this website, watch this, but also go to the Wayback Machine and just take a trip through history.
This is also an early internet ass website. Like,
it's beautiful.
The current website is also internet ass.
It hasn't changed that much, but if you go back, it gets better and better.
It's like an HTML table. That shit is
so good. Chessic's website core.
They never got to Web 2.0. They stopped. They were like 1.0, good enough.
Return with a V.
Took them 30 years to get where they're at. So, they're not fast. So, Gundam.info. So, a little bit back, Bandai opened a new hobby center in Tokyo. They, a year or so back, released a very cool walkthrough video of it showing how they make Gunpla and the processes that they go through and all of this. And I just kind of want us to watch it together. I encourage our listeners to pull this up.
Yeah, we'll do a count in.
We'll put the audio over this. Mm-hmm. Let's watch a video that kind of goes over how they make Gunpla. And there's one particular part of this that I really want you to pay attention to, which is their official uniforms.
Oh, that's
Let's
beautiful.
Get into it.
I can't wait.
Three.
I'm going to count in. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am.
No, Brian's going to count in. Brian, count us in, and then I'll click.
3, 2, 1, go. Oh, yeah.
We got some hand porn.
All the different switches that you need. Oh my god, the walls.
This looks like Nerve HQ.
They went in on this, by the way.
Oh my god. Look at the slice.
Their uniforms.
Okay, this is unreal. Oh my god, the uniforms.
Yeah, so we're...
Imagine having a flight jacket to sit at a computer.
Sit at a computer, make CAD models of Gunpla.
This is so cool. I mean, obviously watch the video, but like, oh my god.
So those are the different molds. So you make a mold for a specific thing and you keep it because it's a cast iron.
You keep it or you break it if you really want it to be limited edition. I used to do lino cut printing.
Please enjoy how they make these molds. Hand chiseled.
Jesus.
To a microscopic level.
I hate that I'm having the same experience as I would seeing like a master blacksmith, a master artisan. These people are literally hand forging.
Oh, this man was probably there day one. He has been doing this for
all
40
heroes
years.
wear capes, but some of them wear absolutely sick uniforms.
Oh my god, the spirit of a digital workman! They have a slogan on the back.
Why
Why
do they
is
have
there
the
a mallet?
No, they have to beat them to close them, the mold.
Oh, fuck.
Because they have to be super tight.
Romanticizing a shitty workplace if it comes out that this is a shitty thing, but also
all
it's
labor
so
under
sick to look
capitalism
at.
is exploited.
Bandai ranks high on worker satisfaction and not fake.
It would rank high with me too if I got this fucking jacket. Look at the Bandai branded hard hat. Oh my god, they have a lift for the molds because they're so fucking heavy.
Because they're pure fucking metal.
Oh my god, you know some of these people are forklift certified. That was a nothing
I hope
statement.
they show the forklifts here because they're automated and they look like Zaku's.
What? This looks like automotive labor, and he's just putting this mold in for injection.
So they actually worked with Toyota on these machines.
Oh my god, that makes sense.
To make them even cleaner and more dialed in quality.
The music on this, it cannot be said enough, is hilarious. It is
so
not,
much.
It's so dramatic. Oh my god, he just reaches in and pulls out a sprue, like, yep.
Yeah, quality control. Gotta make sure the print's good.
Oh my god.
They pull them up from the basement. The basement of
god.
metal casts.
Dude, when the apocalypse comes, we're breaking
That's
into...
my boy, RGM79D, GM Cold District type!
Oh, Gundam Heavy Arms parts! Okay, I see a lift. That just looks like it's a pallet jack, though. Okay. Oh my god, I love the labeling. BBC Sherlock Who? This is beautiful.
This is
Trims off
gorgeous.
some excess. Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
So we're watching an automated machine moving this around and just printing sprues.
Oh my god, there's a ton of them. But like, this is not to be sentimental. Oh my god,
that moves.
It's a huge crane inside the warehouse.
So
oh
this is
my
what
god,
Gunpla are made of. These little plastic
polystyrene
bits are melted down. Yeah. That shit comes in
beautiful
paper
colors.
bags.
Yeah. Well, you gotta minimize plastic waste where you can. I'm like mesmerized. We're just watching things in tubes.
This is such Gundam-ass music. God.
This is such a Gundam-ass
This is like
show.
straight up the music that happens.
Do you see
when, like,
Zaku forklift?
I didn't see Zaku forklift. Shit. Oh, I'll have to try to catch it.
Okay. All of these filled with sprues.
Oh my god, I need to be in the Bandai warehouse eating sprues.
Don't eat the sprue.
I'm already
It's
cooking.
the official stance of the pod. Don't
I know,
eat
I'm
sprues.
cooking it.
There's a shark forklift.
There's a shark forklift.
Bruh, I just witnessed. I can't even.
Oh my god.
The fucking Sazabi forklift I just witnessed.
Oh my god, that was wonderful. Please go watch this.
Please watch this.
I
know
gotta go
at
back and
least-
show you the
Yeah,
Zaku.
please show me the Zaku forklift, please. I know at least some of our listeners listen to this on a commute. I'm very sorry for you just getting narration, but also park your car. Park your car and bring this up on your phone.
Or at least go and watch it. This is such a chill thing to just get really high and watch this 5-minute video.
Oh no, this is Abby again. You need to go a little earlier.
I'm gonna
Yeah, I
find my
think it was
boy.
in there.
He's in here. He's in this warehouse. I've seen him.
There it is.
Oh yes, the Zaku forklift. It's so cute. What the fuck?
I love
Guys,
it.
remind me to screen cap this. So yeah, their uniforms are based on Federation pilot uniforms from the UC Century. I want one. So
I think we
fucking
should.
badly.
I think we should customize jackets that look like Xeon uniforms when we go hostile invasion.
Hostile invasion of Japan. They do sell like pilot shirts too. They have some pretty good gear.
I
love
cannot.
Bandai.
Another thing. So I think part of the reason doing the model kits appealed
Definitely
to
should
me.
go to Etsy and search for any Bandai properties to find cool handmade
stuff. Yeah. No, I think part of the reason the model kit was so satisfying to me, like I said, I like IKEA furniture, I like origami, I like clear instructions to make a beautiful thing, but also I used to do cosplay and prop making, and I miss that a lot. And so like this scratches an itch in my brain. I want to make something beautiful, but it also means that someday, Alice, we are making a cosplay.
I've never wanted our podcast to be a visual medium more than right now, and we could have cut to a solemn picture of Nico's Homestuck troll cosplay.
That's not even a good one. I do not have photos of those who know. Okay, I mentioned my horrible comics addiction earlier. I cosplayed 1612 Angela Witch Hunter. I did a full armor bodice. I did full face makeup, wig, crown, cape, full battle axe. I looked fantastic. I ran into Kieran Gillen. We talked about the series. I thanked him for writing a lesbian character who had a trans wife. I think they're still together in canon. It was one of the most transcendent moments of my life. I love when fandom is good, and I love Model Kit now. I want more.
I love Model Kit. We want more Model Kit.
Mary Camphor, I want more.
Here's my dream when we go to a convention.
Yes.
I'm gonna go as Soletta Mercury from The Witch from Mercury Gundam, because I love my stupid trash panda wife. And you're gonna go as a Gundam.
Yeah.
You're gonna go as this Gundam.
I'm gonna go as Bernie. I'm gonna have hot pants and a little blue shirt.
Yes.
And I'm gonna be Bernie.
No. I'm not going as this.
Wait, if you're going as Bernie, do I have to bring you McDonald's?
Yes. We have to eat McDonald's on the floor.
Okay, and that'll settle what mech I am. For listeners who don't know, I am built like a brick shit house. I'm pretty heavy set, and I'm about 6 feet tall. So I will be going as the Gundam, and I think now I want to go as the battle damage Zaku with the Heat Hawk. Oh no, the box Gundam is very good though.
Guys, bully Soletta at every opportunity. Bully Soletta. I don't need the Bandai sponsorship anymore. I do have to say, The Witch from Mercury was gay. I don't care what Bandai says.
This is the official stance of the OSG podcast. It was gay. They're married.
Sorry, Bandai.
I didn't even watch it.
Queers exist, and you made one, and it's beautiful. That's the first Gundam we're gonna watch, just so Brian can just hear me and you gushing about Yuri for fucking 24 episodes. And he's like, why don't they just talk to each other once? And it's like, no, that's the point of Yuri. You never talk about it.
I'm gonna break at some point in there and just be like, no, Brian, they should just fuck nasty about it.
This has been a wonderful bonus episode, but we can't run to our normal episode length.
Hey, power hour means power hour. It does not mean we have to hit the same fucking 30-second mark every time. When it's over,
I know,
it's over.
I'm just a piece of shit. But we have to come around on this. And guys, what are your final thoughts on, and they probably won't be, but on Gunpla?
There's a deep financial problem in my future.
We all have to make a blood pact right now. We are only allowed to get one kit per quarter. It has to have a price tag maximum. I'm including Alice in this for her own good. She has to be able to set more money aside for VTubers who need her support.
Bandai, why don't you have a VTuber yet? I'm just saying, it's a shoo-in for your audience.
Why did you spend so much money on Jivo instead of just making a VTuber? Like, come on.
Nico, what are your final thoughts on Gunpla?
My final thoughts on Gunpla are, I'm so glad we were able to do this episode. I loved hearing the passion in your voice, Alice, as you got to talk about the history and your experience with Gunpla. It makes me so happy. I love to get into hobbies with my friends. And I'm just going to say again, like, if you haven't gone to see osgpod.com, it's a beauty, it's a marvel. It's going to have a lot of content for this. And Merry Camphor.
Merry Camphor.
Merry Camphor.
Lala Singh VTuber that when she graduates, she gets shot by an Amuro VTuber.
Thanks for listening, pilots. Remember, you can reach out for advice from our team at our email, questions@osgpod.com. And non-pilots can send general questions or feedback to the same address. I'm also going to open that up. You ever make a cool Gunpla? Send me photos. I want to see that.
We want to see them. We want to see them.
I will reblog that shit.
Photos.
Send us the links to your socials so we can reblog that shit so fast. And non-pilots can send general questions or feedback to the same address. You can also catch up with us on social media. Links are in the description for updates and more. Make sure to check back to our next episode. We'll be doing more episodes, and we'll see you in
I don't know what they are from this one.
We'll see you next year in 2024. Goodbye. I love you.
Goodbye, I love you.
Goodbye. I love you.